Every morning, an old lady would sit in her rocking chair outside her house, shaking her head and nervously biting her nails. It was her little routine. Most folks thought she wasn't doing too great. No one ever stopped by to say hi, and she hardly went anywhere. The only buddy she had was this tiny old dog, barely able to walk or see, but they stuck together. One day, Pretty was hanging out at her grandma's house when she spotted the old lady next door through her bedroom window. It was a quiet afternoon, and she was curious about what the woman was up to. The still dog caught her eye right away. She had a puppy at home, so her curiosity got the better of her, and she peeked through her window at the old woman's yard. She watched with curiosity as the old woman carried her dog. The pup never tried to run off, getting scooped up many times a day until bedtime at 8 p.m. Pretty decided it was finally time to chat with the old woman after a week of thinking about it. She slipped into the woman's yard. To her surprise, the woman got up and walked over. Pretty froze as he asked her the oddest question. "Have I been forgiven?" Shocked, Pretty replied, "Yes, ma'am." The woman burst into tears, hugged Pretty tightly, and started dancing and singing, thanking God. She then led Pretty inside, asking for just a few minutes. Pretty glanced around the room while the old woman was away. The place was stunning, filled with beautiful furniture, lovely curtains, and pictures from Paris, London, and New York. As she looked around, she spotted a trunk in the corner filled with gorgeous jewelry and stunning clothes. Just then, the old woman appeared, looking beautiful in a lovely kaftan. She had styled her hair into a neat bun and added a touch of makeup. Pretty was taken aback. The old woman didn't seem old at all. She looked just like the woman in the pictures. Pretty exclaimed, "Ma'am, you're so beautiful. I want to be just like you." The old woman smiled gently and replied, "Oh dear, you really don't want to be anything like me." She guided Pretty to a chair to sit down. Then she said, "My angel, let me share why you don't want to be like me. This is my story. My parents named me Beauty because I was born stunning full hair, rosy cheeks, and it felt like I came with my own natural makeup. I was their only kid, so they totally spoiled me. My parents saved every penny to move to Lagos, wanting to give me the best life possible. My dad landed a gig as a chef for a diplomat, and my mom worked as a nurse. How cool is that?" T the diplomat had a daughter named Lily, who was just a year older than me. When I met her, she was 10 and I was 9. Sadly, Lily's mom had passed away from cancer the year before. We clicked instantly, and her dad was over the moon. She'd always been a bit shy, but even offered me the cozy spare room, all decorated in pink and white. He got me into Lily's private school, and before long, we were like sisters. My dad was still the chef, so I got to see him every day. Mom would come on weekends to clean and do our hair. It was such a blast. But then everything changed a year later. It was my 10th birthday, and we had all our school friends over. My parents were there, and they even got me some new clothes. Lily's dad was running around, making sure everything was organized. We had a DJ, bouncy castles, and all the fun you could imagine. When it was time to cut the cake, my parents were called up to join me. Everyone thought Lily's dad would go first, but nope, it was my parents. It wouldn't have been a big deal, but one girl who'd slept over before shouted, "Beauty, your parents are the chef and hairdresser." How embarrassing. When everyone burst out laughing, I felt like the ground should just open up and swallow me whole. I dashed inside and wouldn't come out until everyone left, not even talking to my parents all day. It hit me that no matter how hard a hen tried like a peacock, it's still just a hen. But guess what? I was ready to change that. Luckily, our time in primary school was wrapping up, and Lily and I were gearing up to start secondary school after summer. My parents finally talked to me and apologized for embarrassing me, but the damage was done. A little resentment had taken root in me. I couldn't shake it off. I wasn't going to let that happen again. Just before summer wrapped up, Lily's dad called my dad and me for a meeting. He wanted his blessing because Lily was heading to a girls' boarding school in Switzerland, and he hoped I could go too. My dad was a bit unsure at first, but then he saw how excited I was, and replied, "Thank you, sir. It would be a dream come true for us." That's how I went to Switzerland with Lily, We didn't come back home until we finished 6 years later. The first day I returned to the country, I felt different. I had an English accent, my skin was flawless, and I was feeling proud of myself. Walking out of the airport's arrival lounge with Lily was such a great moment. My mom tried to hug me, but I gently pushed her away and offered my hand instead. She didn't mind at all. She grabbed my hand and kissed it right there. I quickly pulled out a handkerchief and wiped her lipstick off my hand. I started calling Lily's dad, Dad. My parents, Chef John and Miss Miriam, loved me so much that they were scared I might reject them. They embraced whatever I called them because they were just thrilled I was on my way to a life they could only dream of for me. After 6 months, Lily and I moved to New York for college. She was into film and photography, while I was all about fashion design. But honestly, it didn't last long. I dropped out a few months later after getting discovered on 5th Avenue. A scout snapped a pic of me, and just like that, I was a model. When Lily's dad came to New York, he wasn't thrilled about me dropping out of college. He thought I could juggle school and modeling. I stood my ground and told him he wasn't my dad, so he couldn't boss me around. That poor guy was left in the dust after that. I stopped seeing Lily and moved out of the NYU apartment her dad got for us. I was a model now way too big for all that. Paris, New York, and Milan, Singapore contracts and cash rolled in, and soon I was everywhere on billboards and magazines. At 24, I met this amazing guy while shopping at Macy's. He walks up to me and says, "Nubian Queen, I have been searching for you my whole life." I looked up and saw this handsome Arab man. Can you believe it? Things moved fast, and before I knew it, he flew me back to the UAE. We got married, and honestly, I had no clue what I was getting into. My only witness was a friend from New York who came for the wedding and headed back home a week later. I used to love my freedom, strolling around in whatever I wanted, but I had to learn the hard way to cover up and keep quiet when spoken to. My handsome prince married 3 others after me. I was miserable but rich. I was always watched closely, worried I might try to escape, especially since my passport was taken ages ago. I had 2 sons with my husband, but honestly, they seemed more like his kids than mine. I could never tell them to do anything without them checking with their dad first. On my 35th birthday, my husband told me to make a wish. I asked to go back to New York for some shopping and a little getaway. Until then, I had been a good wife, praying 5 times a day and always serving him. So, when he said my wish was granted and my sister-in-law would join me, I was totally on board. We kicked off an amazing 2-week luxury getaway at the Ritz-Carlton. After arriving, we checked into our adjoining rooms. The first few nights, I just crashed. My sister-in-law wanted to go out, but I wasn't feeling it. By the 3rd day, she left me behind to go shopping, and that was my chance. I still had my New York bank account, but no card. I popped into the bank, showed my passport, reactivated my account, got a card, and withdrew a good chunk of cash. I changed in the airport bathroom, grabbed a one-way ticket home, and just like that, I was on my way home at 35 with nothing but a carry-on bag and a few clothes. But I didn't care. I was escaping back to freedom, and that's all that mattered. Landed and realized I didn't have anyone's number. My husband swapped my old phone for a new one when we got married, and now I couldn't even get home. Facing Lily's dad, after how I treated him, no way. Honestly, I just couldn't deal with that right now. I hopped in a taxi and asked to be taken to the nearest hotel. I had plenty of cash and my card with me, so I paid for 6 months up front and got all settled in. In the next few days, I jumped into a taxi for some clothes shopping. Before I knew it, I had bags full of clothes, shoes, and accessories, definitely enough to last me a while. I still hadn't even thought about looking for my parents. Chilling by the pool one day, I struck up a convo with this posh guy. He was rich, but honestly, that didn't impress me much. I was living that life too. We hit it off, and I felt relaxed enough to share that I had just moved from New York and was diving into the fashion scene. 6 months later, I opened my own boutique. He helped me get it off the ground with my savings. We started dating after that, and he proposed on my 37th birthday. He was 39 and single, and we just clicked. He proposed in style on that day. I was over the moon, believing I finally had a shot at a fresh start. I married him before I truly understood he was all about family traditions. My first challenge was dealing with his family. They were always in and out of our house, and honestly, it drove me nuts. His mom even said my puppy had to go because she was allergic. I couldn't help but make her life a bit miserable. We were arguing one day when she pushed me, and I pushed her back. She fell and hurt her back, ending up in the hospital for a week. I totally blamed her, and my husband was right there backing me up. He was so in love with me, especially since I was pregnant with the twins at the time. To wrap it up, I had the twins in London, then came back and told my husband he had to choose his family out, or I take the twins, one girl and one boy, back to New York. He sent them back to the village and buckled down. I wouldn't let him visit. He just wired them money. His family left our house, and honestly, that worked for me. After all, I didn't have any ties, so why should he? On my 50th birthday, we got a call that my mother-in-law was critically ill and might not make it through the day. I threw a fit. How could he leave me on my birthday to go anywhere? Needless to say, his mom passed on without seeing him, but not without cursing me. I found out later. I will come back to that. I was around 53 or 54 when I bumped into this sweet old lady outside a supermarket. I was getting out of my car with a friend when she approached me and said, "Is that you, Beauty?" I looked her up and down, totally surprised, and asked, "How do you know my name?" She fell to the floor, crying and thanking God. That was my mom. Around 77 or 78, honestly, I didn't want my friend to see, so I quickly pulled out some cash from my bag and slipped it to her, with my business card tucked in. A day later, I got a call from an unknown number. Guess what? It was my mom. I asked where she was, and then I went to see her and my dad. They were living in the house Lily's dad had given them, the one I grew up in. He had gone back to America and left them the house in a car. Because my parents were like family to him and Lily, eventually the house became too much for them to handle, and it started to look pretty shabby. I just stood there, totally at a loss for words. A few days later, I returned. I got their account number, wrote a check to fix the house, and promised to help them out with some monthly support. I also took my business card so they couldn't call me anymore. They asked for my business card back, but I told them I had moved and my number changed. I promised to return the next day with the new info, but I never did. I just kept sending them money instead, figured that was enough. I couldn't face their judgment again. Then everything took a turn for the worse. At 59, my husband fell ill and tragically passed away from a heart attack, leaving no will behind. My in-laws jumped me, saying all my money was his. They locked my boutique, and when I got home, my house was shut tight. Everything I had was in there. I had just one bank card with my name. All the rest were in my husband's account. My kids were gone. To make matters worse, I got this horrible text from my mother-in-law's phone on that very day. It read, "Beauty, since you denied me seeing my son before I passed on, you'll end up the same way. You and your silly dog. You'll regret what you did to me. No one will come looking for you, and you'll be all alone until God forgives you and someone finally decides to show you mercy." With no one to turn to and nowhere else to go, I bought this bungalow with the little I had left, and moved in with my dog and the trunk box the family left me. That's everything I've got from my life. I've been stuck in this house since I was kicked out of my mansion. I have 4 kids I can't find. No one visits, and I've been all alone until you showed up. It feels like I've finally been forgiven. So you see, my dear child, my life was a waste. I thought my beauty would get me anywhere and anything. I was wrong. I was too proud to accept anyone, not even my parents. I refused to be humble. Now see how I ended up. You are called pretty. Let your name be your character. Have a pretty life. Bring beauty into the world and infect people with your love. Be a blessing and make a difference everywhere you go. Let people see the glory and beauty of God in you. And remember, pride always comes before a downfall. God bless you, my child.